Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I'm so excited today to have a very special guest. Do we look a little bit alike? Well, maybe that's because she's my niece. This is Anna Beck Chapman, and Anna is from Nashville, Tennessee. She is a high school math teacher. I'm glad you weren't my teacher with math, Anna. But I'm so glad to have you here today. It's awesome. And she not only does math, but she has a little business on the side called ABC Bakery. Tell us a little bit about that.
I make custom royal icing sugar cookies, and it's a booming business right now.
Oh, it is. It's just everywhere. Well, tell us what we're going to do today. You're going to teach me something, right, Anna?
I am. We're going to learn how to make a sugar cookie dough, the royal icing, and we're going to do a great floral design on the cookies at the end.
Gosh, well, you know, you can't even get on Facebook right now without seeing that, and it's, you know, you even said it's a little bit on the relaxing side.
It is.
So, well, that's great. Well, why don't we get started with the dough? And we went ahead and got the butter and the sugar creamed and scraped down the sides. So I'm going to let you show me the whole process. So just tell me what to do.
All right, so we're going to turn the mixer on low, and we're going to add our 2 eggs.
All right.
And we'll let those incorporate just a little bit.
Well, you know, this is so... This is a complete change of role reversal because Anna used to come help me in the summers when she was little at the VeryVera bakery, and of course we were baking cakes. So this is fun to have you here with me today doing your cookies.
All right, we're going to add the extracts. So we do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and it gives it just a nice fresh flavor that's different than a lot of sugar cookies.
Oh yeah, and I love a little bit of almond in mine for sure. Okay.
Once that's incorporated, we're going to do half of our flour along with the other 2 dry ingredients, which are salt and baking powder.
Can I put those in with the flour?
You can.
Okay. That's kind of how we do it with cakes. You know, baking is really a scientific method. All right. So now we can start adding this in.
And we can stop the mixer and do half at a time or a cup at a time.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
That makes it a little easier.
Well, and like you say, you're making big batches of this, right?
Yes.
Well, we've actually ordered quite a number of your cookies. We've used them for things like we did a promotional with Ballard Designs, and instead of just reaching out to them via email, we sent them your cookies that looked like a Pinterest page that we had created. They loved it. We've done them for birthday parties, and our little show cookies that we distribute are Anna cookies, ABC Bakery cookies. So now is the speed correct?
That's great. We're going to do it on low, and as soon as it's mixed in, we'll add more.
Okay.
That's great.
And you went ahead and did some in advance on this too.
I did. So we have some that's already chilled, and we're going to roll it out using guards. So these are 1/4 inch guards that fit on a standard rolling pin.
Oh, wow.
And this makes life so much easier. Royal icing is really thin and runny, and if your cookie isn't even, your icing will spill off the edges, and so this will keep our cookie nice and flat.
Well, and you told me earlier that is something that when you buy a pack of these, you get a lot of different kinds. So I know some people make their sugar cookies thick and some make them that size.
I've found that a 1/4 inch works great for the consistency cookie, the consistency icing. It's a great ratio of icing to cookie.
Well, why don't you go ahead with that while this is mixing up. Just get rid of this.
So we're going to dust the surface with some flour so that it doesn't stick. And we're going to use this one. We roll them out into halves, into rectangles.
Okay.
And we chill them, set them out for a little bit so that they come up a little bit to room temperature. We're going to flour it so that we keep from sticking. And the guards are great. You can just start pushing, and it's going to stop.
It's going to stop you when it gets to that height of the counter.
We're gonna push out.
Oh, don't you just love a sugar cookie?
Great.
And we're gonna do some great shapes with these. So when this gets finished, we're gonna divide this in half, and I'll wrap it in saran. And when we come back after the break, we're gonna get started cutting these out. So you don't wanna miss it. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, I'm having so much fun with my niece, Anna Beck Chapman from Nashville, Tennessee. And if you're just joining us, I just finished learning how to make the best sugar cookie dough ever. And we got it divided in half, flattened out, wrapped in saran wrap, and now it's in the refrigerator chilling. You got some dough rolled out. Now we've moved down the counter and we're gonna get started on cutting them out. And you're going to teach us how to make royal icing.
I am. Well, why don't you keep cutting?
Okay.
And we've got a few different shapes here. I don't have a preference as to plastic or metal cutters. I think they work about the same. The most important part is to have a really well-floured surface.
Okay.
You want to keep
the dough. And then do you just kind of lift up? Okay.
If you have a well-floured surface, they should come up pretty easily.
Come straight up.
But I'm going to start on the royal icing. So in here we have 2 pounds of confectioner's sugar, and we're going to add our meringue powder. Thank you to the Fresh Market. They have a great selection.
They do, and all kinds of spices and things to go with it too.
We're going to let that combine and slowly add our water as it combines. And this is a medium consistency royal icing. So a lot of royal icing comes in 2 consistencies. You might have a flood, kind of a thinner consistency, and a piping consistency, which is a little thicker. I choose to do a medium consistency so that I can use the same consistency for both. There's less cleanup, there's less preparation.
Well, why are people scared of this icing?
It's a little intimidating.
It is.
It took some practice, and I'm going to add the vanilla while we're talking.
Okay.
And I use clear vanilla to keep the icing white.
And that was another thing. You know, a lot of times when you're, reading recipes about icing and everything, they wouldn't indicate to do that. So that's really, and we're going to have the recipes available on our website, but using the clear vanilla will keep that white really nice and crisp.
Yes. And of course we have colors these are great to personalize. So you can choose any color you want to dye this. I like the gel colors best. Instead of a liquid. If you use liquid food coloring, it's going to throw your consistency off a little bit.
And you add that gel with just like a little toothpick or something?
A toothpick or a butter knife. So these are the color choices. It's a garden variety that we're going to use for our
I know, it's going to be
florals.
Such a sweet little tea party.
It is. And so I use tipless piping bags. It cuts down on some of the equipment necessary, some of the cleanup. And so I have a tipless piping bag in this pint glass that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to fill.
Well, now, Anna, this reminds me of the FIMU shape. And she and I are not only aunt and niece, but we're sorority sisters. So that's been really special between us as well. Okay, now when you have the leftover, can you just reshape and keep working? Or
you can re-roll it once.
Re-roll it once.
Once you get past one time, you end up with a bunch of
I
air bubbles.
probably should have been getting these a little bit closer together.
I do.
I'm making an F on my first attempt. Oh no.
So we have a great royal icing consistency here. So I'm going to start putting it into my piping bag.
Okay, so it's supposed to be really
It's pretty
liquidy.
runny.
Okay.
And we're going to use our glass to kind of maintain our piping bag shape. And you can take it out and color it. You can have a thicker consistency if you want to write words. And this is going to travel all to the end here.
Okay, and then the other thing that you said is this has to go in the freezer before you bake it, and that's for what reason?
We want our cookies to maintain that nice shape.
Okay.
And so if you bake them at room temperature, they're going to start to flatten. So if we bake them straight from the freezer, they're going to bake perfectly while still maintaining.
I'm having the best time. Okay, well, we've got a couple of things. During Vera's Corner today, we're going to show you a great new dessert that looks like a rose. It's an apple rose that would also be wonderful to serve at a tea party. So come back with us and we're going to get started decorating these beautiful cookies.
Vera's Corner is brought to you by Jeff's Sewing and Vacuum.
Today I'm going to show you a fun new dessert. Not only do they look beautiful, but they are going to be delicious for your next party. Start with 1/4 of a sheet of thawed puff pastry, then spread a teaspoon of your favorite jam onto the puff pastry. Today I'm using apricot jam thinned with a little warm water. Arrange a line of very thinly sliced apples onto the top half of the rectangle. Layer them so they overlap slightly. To get my apples extra thin, I use a mandolin. To add some sweetness, sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top of the apples. Fold the bottom half of the pastry over the apples to cover the bottom half of the apples. Loosely roll the dough to form an apple rose, being careful not to break the apples or the puff pastry. Place in a muffin tin and repeat with the remaining puff pastry. Place the muffin tin in a 325-degree oven for about 45 minutes or until the puff pastry is baked and the apples are golden brown. How beautiful is that? Once they are cooled, remove from the pan and dust the tops with a little powdered sugar. You can now enjoy your gorgeous apple roses. Welcome back, everybody, and I'm being taught today how to make these beautiful sugar cookies by my niece Anna. And you know, Anna, you are one of 6 children. My younger sister has 6 children, and her hair is the same color as mine. And that's probably why. Oh my goodness. But we're having fun today. We got the cookie dough all done, and I've cut them out. They're frozen, and then we've got some that we've baked, and the royal icing turned out wonderfully. And you've decorated with all different colors. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we're going to do the floral theme today, so I'm really excited. We've got some great choices in colors. We're going to do some different designs. One of the greatest things about these cookies is that they can be personalized for whatever event you want to do.
Oh, I know
I've made so many incredible cookies, you know, golf-themed cookies, Dr. Seuss themed cookies. I've done thank you cookies. There's a great tool called a copy cake that is a projector so that all cookies look uniform. The handwriting and logos, you know, we've done some great VeryVera cookies.
That's your favorite cookie,
That's
right?
my favorite
the
cookie.
VeryVera cookie.
Is the VeryVera cookie. So today we're gonna do the floral design.
Okay.
So we're gonna learn a little bit about how to work with the royal icing. And I think working with it is probably the hardest part. You can start with a more intricate design. We're gonna do a circle.
Okay.
And so one of the things you want to start with is a clean tip. So I'll wipe the tip on a paper towel just so that I have a clean start.
Okay.
And one of the trickiest things is you are not actually writing on the cookie with the icing.
Okay.
We're going to touch down on the outside and we're going to hold it above the cookie so that it falls where it should be.
Oh,
Hovering.
man.
And then we're going to touch back down right back where we started.
Oh, look at that.
So this is called a piping.
Okay.
So this is going to hold in our flood icing. And I mentioned earlier that I use one consistency. And so we're going to squeeze a little bit harder and do what I call a fat flood. So we want to fill this in completely. And royal icing is really nice because it maintains its own shape. So I don't use tips because whatever tip you put on there, it's still going to come out and flatten like this. So these tipless bags work great.
So that's about 1/4 of an inch thickness, about.
And we fill it up all the way, and my handy little tool is a toothpick.
And everybody has one of those.
Everyone
right?
has one of these, and so any place there's a little hole, you can just kind of swirl it in, and it will fill.
And it just kind of starts oozing,
out.
but it doesn't go anywhere because of that one line.
The pipe. So we're going to do a floral design. So I have a white background so that we see the contrast between the colors, and I'm going to do pink flowers.
Okay.
So we're going to do kind of a bigger circle here.
And I don't know whether y'all noticed, but we have a little belly that has a little baby in it here, and Anna's having a little girl. So pink is perfect for this tea party.
Pink is very appropriate. So we have our big pink circles here, and we're going to do a second color on the inside. And so inside of these circles, I'm going to do a C, just that we're going to come back and swirl in, and so it adds a little bit of color. So here, I pick 3 entry points, essentially. And so I'm going to come out from the white and swirl in, and out from the white and swirl in. And it's going to flatten just a little bit and be a really sweet flower with the 2 contrasting colors. So we're going to come in and swirl. And how we're going to get these great leaves. Royal icing is really controllable. And so we're going to put these dots here for leaves, but we're going to use our toothpick.
It looks like, those look like the teacups we're going to use in just a few minutes that were my mother's. Oh my goodness.
So we have these dots, and I'm going to stick my toothpick in the middle and just drag it out. And we get these really dainty flowers and leaves.
Oh, Anna, and you've done some classes with young people, and I know they just absolutely love this. Okay, what about the square cookie?
So on our square cookie, these are a little trickier because we want to have a clean edge.
Okay.
Circles are hard, squares are kind of a different ball game. So I'm gonna start at a corner and touch down again and pull up and drop it back.
Okay.
So we touch down and we drop it back down.
All right.
So straight lines are actually pretty simple as long as you're above the cookie and letting it fall straight.
Gosh, I don't know about all of you, but I am learning so much, and this is so much fun, great to do with your young people. So we're gonna keep decorating, and when we come back from the break, we're gonna show you all the finished cookies. We've got a tea party set up, and just to learn a little bit more about how to store these and take care of them better than anything, we're gonna eat them. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, Anna, I've had the best time. We're just having the best time today doing just really fun things and just introducing everybody to your wonderful business, ABC Bakery. So during the break, we were really busy. And tell us about those last cookies that you decorated.
Well, we finished icing the rest of the cookies. We had some polka dots, we did some chevron design. There were just multiple things. You iced one yourself.
You know, and honestly, the fact that you just run the icing makes it a lot easier, and I've honestly never done it before. So if you do the comparison, obviously you're the pro, but you know, this is something I can do really great with the kids for cooking camp. You know, they'll love to learn that, and you said when you teach it, they really love doing it. So, you know, some of the other cookies that you've done that I wanted to be sure I mentioned was when McClendon had his first birthday party, you did the nautical cookie, that was great. You've done circus cookies. You know, you said that you never really do the same cookie twice.
I love getting emails from people who are interested in a new idea. It's a challenge for me. It lets me be creative and try something different, and that's the most exciting part.
Well, what's been your biggest challenge so far?
I'm gonna say this cookie. I made some Vera caricature cookies.
It's the Vera cookie. Oh my goodness. Well, I hate to say that it looks just like me because it does, but oh my gosh. Well, those are amazing. Well, let's talk a little bit about the tea party. And while we're doing that, I'm going to put some hot water in the teacups. And Anna, these are your grandmother's good china. This is Mama Betty's good china. And Anna actually had two grandmothers, one of whom was named Betty with a Y, and then Betty with an E, looks like Bet, is 90.
She'll be 91 in
91,
August.
and this baby is named for her, so it's amazing. So we've got the beautiful cookies, we did parfaits, and then the apple roses that we did during Vera's Corner. They look like little cupcakes.
They're beautiful.
But I thought they would be absolutely perfect to serve at a tea party. Just a really nice little dessert. You can just brush the powdered sugar on the top. We've got tulips for Betty in pink, and just, you know, just fabric that you can go to the fabric store and just get some yardage. Even if you crunch it up, it just looks amazing. So when you're doing this, it's in terms of keeping these freeze well.
They freeze great. You can bag them in Ziploc bags if that's what you have. Freeze them for a month or two. Pull them out just almost an hour before you need them. They defrost really quickly, and you've tasted some that are frozen.
Oh yeah, well you have shipped to me, and so her packaging for shipping is incredible. The VeryVera show cookies that you've done for us arrived in perfect condition. She had them bubble wrapped, you know, just neatly placed in the box. This is where the math teacher comes in, because everything was just organized to beat the band. And you know, when someone that does this, you know, for a hobby and you know, extra income, you know, to be that familiar with how everything, you know, looks when it's finished, how well it preserves itself, the fact that it freezes well, it's just terrific. Well, Anna, I know your students are so proud of you. I'm sure if you were a student in your class, you learned a little bit about math. But I just want to thank you so much for, you know, what you've meant to me through the years. She helped me do Costco Roadshow. She's done so much. But I want you to come back soon. Her baby is due just very shortly, so we'll be tuned in for that. But again, as I always say on the show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. Safe travels. All of you come back and see us next week for another episode of the VeryVera Show.